Almost a year had passed since Ryan O'Connolly slipped out of the FBI's grasp after the end of Heidi Presley's rampage. When Winter last saw Ryan, he'd been held prisoner by Heidi, shot and beaten. Today, he didn't appear to be much better off. As she and Noah Dalton entered the interview room, his blue eyes darted back and forth between them and the pane of two-way glass. Stubble darkened his cheeks, and strands of his dark hair had come loose from where they'd been neatly styled. His clothes, a white button-down shirt and dress pants, were clean and pressed, but the rest of him looked like he'd just escaped from the pits of hell. Winter and Noah exchanged glances as they took their seats across the table from the prominent thief and con man. Setting a little notepad atop the laminate table, Winter cleared her throat. "Well, good morning, Mr. O'Connolly. This is unexpected. Agent Wayrick says you've got something for us about Tyler Haldane and Kent Strickland. Is that right?" As he threaded his fingers together, Ryan exhaled a long breath.
"Well, yes and no."
He paused to shift his wary gaze from her to Noah and back.
"I do have information about Tyler Haldane and Kent Strickland, but that's not the main reason I'm here."
Whether because of time that had elapsed since he'd been in the States, or a conscious decision of his own, Ryan's accent was less prominent. Winter knew based on a cursory background check that the man had never actually lived in Ireland, so his manner of speaking was unusual to begin with. The accent was one part of Ryan's persona that had always piqued Winter's curiosity. Maybe this time around, she'd find the time to ask him why a man from Chicago would cultivate an Irish accent. After all, Aidan Parrish had grown up in the south side of Chicago, and aside from the occasionally sharply pronounced A, he had no accent to speak of. Noah's chair creaked lightly as he leaned back to offer Ryan a curious look.
"You're not here to tell us more about a couple mass murderers?"
To Ryan's credit, despite his weariness, he didn't balk at Noah's skeptical tone. His eyes were tired and his expression strained, but he held himself like a man with a purpose.
"That's not the main reason I'm here. Strickland and Haldane are dead or in prison. They're not a danger to anyone anymore, so any information I've got on them is more to help your prosecutor than anything, yeah?"
With a thoughtful glance to Winter, Noah nodded.
"True enough."
Narrowing her eyes, Winter propped her elbows atop the table and leaned forward. "You know we won't just let you walk out of here. Even if you do have something on Haldane and Strickland, you're a wanted fugitive, Mr. O'Connolly." The shadows moved along his throat as he swallowed.
"I know. Believe me, agents, I know. But I also think you know by now that I'm not anything like that psychopath Heidi Presley, yeah? I like money, not hurting people. And honestly, who doesn't like money?"
Noah let out a quiet chuckle, playing good cop to the letter.
"Can't argue that."
Waving a hand, Ryan gestured to the silver and black watch on Noah's wrist.
"I figured you'd understand. How much did that thing set you back anyway? Looks vintage. Had to be at least 50 grand.
Winter could hardly stop herself from flashing Noah a wide-eyed stare. She forced a neutral countenance to her face and twirled a pen in her fingers. $50,000? For a watch? Who was this stranger she'd been sleeping with? With a charming smile, Noah held up his wrist for Ryan to see.
"Honestly, I've got no idea. My granddad collects watches. He gave me this one when I got back from my second tour in the Middle East. My grandma got it for him a long time ago. If I didn't have to wear a suit every day, I don't even think I'd wear it. It's more of a sentimental thing to me, but y'all don't seem to see it that way. Plus, it's a damn fine watch."
"It better be." Winter kept the thought to herself and refocused on the task at hand. "You were saying, Mr. O'Connolly?" Folding his hands in front of himself, Ryan nodded.
"Of course. Sorry. I'll just start at the beginning then."
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.